Today, I'm joined by Luis Bustamante, a very talented film and TV director. But just like you and me, he's into watches, and we're here to pick his brain. Luis, thank you, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, man. This is great.
And by the way, if you hear a little bit of Halloween music in the background, we are actually located upstairs at a specific city, and there's a little bit of a Halloween kind of event downstairs. So,
Yeah, there's kids dressed up everywhere. Yeah. There's a DJ going right now for the kids.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's fun out there.
Now, before we pick apart what kind of watches you're into, I would like to get a chance to know you.
Yeah.
What got you into filmmaking? A lot of people often, watch movies and say, I want to be an actor. I want to be the main character. What made you say, I want to be behind the camera?
I've been into movies since I was a kid, since I was young. I grew up in San Diego and in Tijuana, Mexico. And so as a kid, I had a single mom, worked and studied and did a lot. So I kind of was raised by my grandma and my aunt and my mom and the three of them together. And so I watched a lot of movies and a lot of TV, and my mom is in marketing. And so I grew up on her TV commercial sets. And so even as a teenager, I would have to go, 8 p.m. to start shooting at 10 p.m. and then go until 7 a.m. or whatever.
Oh,
do night shoots at an IKEA store to shoot a new commercial for something. They had those sets already. So
yeah,
they would just shoot little commercials and stuff. And so my sister and I grew up hanging out on set with my mom. So I always knew, what the director did, what the producer did, and the grips and the gaffers. And I had been in that world, I guess, and always been artsy and into different things, photography and that kind of stuff. And so I kind of naturally just progressed in that direction where I ended up at film school and decided to make this a career. And now I've worked in, I don't know how many countries and shot a bunch of different stuff for TV. I used to direct Good Morning San Diego for a long time. So I started as a camera guy and kind of worked my way up into directing there.
Wow.
So it's been a fun career. It's taken me all over the place, gotten to meet a lot of cool people and made a lot of cool friends all over the world. Yeah. So it's been fun.
Some of the staple parts in someone's life I picture, especially myself being into movies, is those times where you go to movie premieres with maybe your family, opening night. Did you attend any memorable movie premieres growing up that kind of sparked the passion?
Yeah, I went to the San Diego Film Festival a lot. So that was cool, getting to see a lot of independent films. And getting to see celebrities in San Diego like come to premiere their movies was cool. But yeah, my mom and my sister and I used to go to movie theater a lot and watch a lot of stuff. I've attended friends' movie premieres, little stuff and big stuff. So yeah, to me, the cinema is a magical place. So I haven't gone in a little while because I've been traveling so much, but when I'm home, I like to go to the movie theater, man. It's nice to be able to sit at home and make dinner and make some popcorn and sit in front of your couch and watch something streaming. That's cool. I love how easy that is, right? But there's some really cool theaters out there that are worth the experience, I think, of going out and seeing something. The last good one I watched in a theater is the Formula One movie with Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I watched that at the IMAX theater on the actual, giant IMAX screen. And that was really cool experience to see that caliber of film on that kind of screen. I own it now and I watch it at home on my TV. It's cool. But, I did a Christmas roadshow screening of, I think it was The Hateful Eight. And it was a Tarantino thing where, a ticket was $40 or $30 or something like that. So it was a little more expensive, but it was a Christmas Day theater screening in a really nice theater in San Diego with assigned seats and burgers and you can, kind of upgraded experience. And you got like a book that had all these behind the scenes pictures, and they did no trailers. It was just music, prelude, and then the movie started. They did an intermission, and then it was Christmas Day, so everyone was kind of dressed a little nice. And so it was cool, man. I was directing Good Morning San Diego at the time. And so I just went after work after doing the Christmas Day morning show. And It was so cool, man. I loved it, but I'm a geek for that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But walking out, I talked to random people like, "Hey, well, what did you think of that experience? Like, would you pay more money
Wow.
to have more of this like upgraded cinematic experience?" And everyone was like, "Yeah, absolutely. This was cool. You know, for the right movie, which
Mm.
I think we get the right movie a couple, maybe a year. It's cool, man, to go out with your friends, your
Yeah.
family, a date, whatever, and
Yeah.
maybe not a first date. First dates,
Yeah. What if the
movies
movie sucks?
have a well, you're also not talking, you know, you're just sitting there
Yeah.
watching a movie. So not a good first date movie, but you know, significant other
Yeah.
date night. I love the movie theaters.
Yeah. One of my favorite two premieres that I remember just growing up, a core memory would be Spider-Man 3 with my brother, of
Ah,
course.
yeah.
Classic, Tobey Maguire. But then also there was a movie that actually caught me by surprise, and it made me realize that movies can go in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
I always grew up watching Ben Stiller, very comedic actor, very
Yep.
funny. But there was a movie that came out, The Secret Life of
Walter
Walter
Mitty.
Mitty. You know that one?
It's one of my favorite movies.
One of my favorite ones as
Yeah.
well. It struck a chord with me and made me realize that there's just more to the world. You can travel. Um, when I saw that movie,
There's a lot to explore out there.
right? Yes. Have you ever seen a movie and maybe reached out to that actor
That
or that movie?
that movie. Yeah. Yeah. I've always been into the photo video world, right? In high school I did a lot of the like the video classes and photography classes and that kind of stuff. And never really traveled. And so I always really wanted to travel the world and see different places. Um and watching Anthony Bourdain's show encouraged me even more. And then, you know, I had the experience of being on set. So I go, man, that'd be a cool job to be able to travel and eat this food and meet these people. Like, that'd be a really cool job.
Yeah.
But never thought that'll be my job, right?
Mm.
And I've never worked on anything like that, but I've done documentaries and projects where we go to travel around the world and we have these incredible meals as a team. And when you spend this long with a crew on the road and you're with each other every minute of the day in planes, trains, and
Family.
automobiles, yeah, you become a family.
Wow.
And so I remember watching The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and besides the fact that it's just a very well made film, uh, it encouraged me to want to travel, Iceland specifically. Uh, and so I reached out to Ben Stiller on Instagram and I sent him a message. And I just kind of, hey man, your film was great. It really encouraged me. I kind of try to do the same thing and go out there and explore. And my work has luckily taken me to some of these places. And I think he kind of just gave me like a heart, you know, liked my message or whatever.
Even if you left me on red, I'd be ecstatic.
Honestly, so I was like, well, that's cool. At least he read it. And then he followed me.
Oh,
And that was kind of it. Like every now and then I'll like after Severance, I sent him a message and I was like, hey man, yeah, masterpiece, right? But you know, that's about it. Yeah. He follows me still, I think, and I follow him. But I'm a big fan of him and his work. But that movie was so well made, and I had kind of a weird moment where I did find myself last minute. I think like 3 days notice. Hey, you need to be in Iceland this weekend, and flying into Iceland, I remember opening my window and it just reminded me of that scene of his first time. It wasn't my first time out of the country or anything, but
vast open land, nothing.
Just seeing that landscape, I was like, wow, this is really like The Secret Life of Walter Mitty right now. This
2 rental
cool.
cars in the park and that's it.
It was a little bit bigger of a city than that. I think that was for comedic ha-ha-has, but no, it is. Reykjavik is a cool town, man. I highly recommend Iceland. But yeah, just it was a great film that encouraged me to want to get out there and explore and meet people. I'm pretty extroverted. I like to talk. I like to meet people. So as I travel, a lot of times my crew is from all over the place, and so they're flying in from Nashville, Dallas, New York, whatever. And I'm flying in from here, and so I have to fly out by myself a lot to where I will meet the rest of the team in Italy or wherever we are. And so I get to meet new people, whoever I'm sitting next to at the restaurant and on the plane or whatever at the gate. And it's cool because with watches, I've gotten to meet a lot of cool people through watch. Like, hey, I like your watch, man. That's cool. And then, you know, you got an hour to kill at the gate and you start talking, get to know people. So yeah, that's it's been a really fun experience getting to watch spotting at airports. If you guys haven't done it, watch spotting at airports is great.
Yeah, sometimes even the pilots are wearing something
Oh,
really good
you
too.
know what? I have to give it up to pilots.
Yeah.
Pilots, I've seen some pilots with some crazy watches, but even when it's not like a crazy watch, the pilots know what's up with watches, man. They always have something nice or something like where you go, yeah, that's fit. You know, Bell and Ross, like you see Bell and Ross and you're like, yeah, all right. But when you see like a pilot wearing a cool Bell and Ross or something like that, you're like, all right, that's cool. Yeah.
After traveling the world obviously you're traveling alone most of the time. There's always that best friend with you, and that happens to be a watch.
Yeah.
What is your daily watch? What are you wearing today?
Today's kind of a weird one because I was at our studio and we were cleaning and putting C stands and lights and stuff away, and so I didn't want to beat up my other watches. So I'm just wearing the G-Shock. It's
the 2100 series.
2100 series. This one is a GA 2100 VB.
Okay.
Which is like, I don't know, it's like a, what do they call it? It's like a virtual something. They did a series of these where I would never have bought a watch with like this pinkish purple and baby blue. It's like, it's so weird. It's not something I would buy myself, but I bought it as a gift for a friend of mine who's really into G-Shocks. Yeah. And when I went to go pick it up and I saw it, I went, oh, that's actually kind of cool. And it was like $80 or whatever. So
exactly.
Like, you know what? I'm going to get one of these. And these have been great. I brought this other one. It's a gold one, gold tone or whatever it is. And I found myself wearing this when I travel. I definitely go through TSA with these because I don't care if, you know, to take it off and leave it in the bucket while you go through security. I usually will go through security with one of these on or one of my swatches. And then, you know, once I'm on the plane or at the gate, then I'll put on a real watch. But you got to be careful when you travel, man. I've been to some sketchy places and you got to, you know, I've had people in hotel lobbies or, you know, on the plane or whatever tell me like, hey, you know, don't wear your watch out on the street. Yeah, like
I give you a heads up.
Yeah, like wait till you get to the restaurant and then put on the watch or something, leave it in your pocket. But yeah, there's certain places I've been recently where you don't want to be wearing
a lot of long sleeves. I take it.
A lot of long sleeves. Or honestly, these, man, like if I know I'm gonna have a day where I'm gonna be carrying tripods and C-stands and lights and that kind of thing, and I don't want to scratch up my watches or whatever, I'll throw in one of these are great. And then the same thing with I keep hitting the mic, I'm so sorry. Same thing with the moon swatches, which I got traveling, but again, you know, they're fun to collect.
Do you see these all over the world?
I've only bought these outside of the US, man.
Really?
Oh man, should we get into the swatch thing right now? Is it too soon?
Let's get into it.
Get me worked up.
A few years ago.
Okay, so when they released these moon swatches, we talked about these. Let's get these out of there. That's what I love about.
I love you could toss them,
throw them. Yeah, fell on the ground. Doesn't matter. When Omega released these moon swatches, I think, like everyone else, I got super excited. I'm like, that's cool, man. This price point, the fact that it's plastic,
the design is there,
the whole thing is just really cool, man. Like I was really excited. But then they became so hard to get, as I'm sure a lot of your audience is probably aware. Lines were forming at the few remaining stores they had left here in Southern California. When they initially launched these, I believe the only two locations where you could get them were San Francisco or Vegas.
Yeah.
Both of which are long drives for where we are in Southern California. So that was my first frustration. I'm like, well, all right. And like, I swore they had a swatch near me. No, yeah, well, they closed those a few years ago. Okay.
Well, now there's a nearby one, but it's still kind of out of the way.
Topanga, which is still kind of far for us. So they didn't have a lot of locations, right? And at the time, my mom was living in Mexico City, and she was going to Sweden. My mom travels a lot too, and I told her about these watches, and I go, Mom, please, if you see any of them, if you see one, snatch one up, you know, like send it to me, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And she would tell me like, what is with these watches? She's like, I just went to the Mexico City store. She went to the Sweden, Stockholm.
You had the hard part,
and she was like they all just laugh at me and like they don't have them, and I go, yeah, thanks for trying. And I kind of gave up. I
Fun.
kind of gave up, and I would see them on Instagram posting more,
Yeah.
like, oh, we got this limited one releasing next week or
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm like, I don't even want it anymore. And actually, I had a 39 millimeter like retro like
The Speedmaster.
Speedmaster. Yeah, I'll send pictures of it so you guys can check it out. But I liked it. My only problem with it was that the width of the band was 19 millimeters, and so it felt a little too dainty on my wrist, and the way it has the twisted lugs. So these being 39 is great for me. But I could never find them here in the States, and so I was in Italy and there was a Swatch store, and I kind of told my buddy that I was with, it was like our day off. I go,
No line.
no line.
Okay.
There was a couple people in there being helped, and I walked in and I go, look, I know you're probably gonna laugh at me, but I'm here. I gotta ask, do you have any moon swatches in stock? And she's like, yeah.
And you're like, no, I don't think you heard. Like, is there any in stock?
And she goes, yeah. She kind of starts walking over, and I walk over to the glass counter, and they had all of them displayed. And she goes, which one would you like? She's like, I have all of them except for, a couple of them, the baby blue, the pink. A couple of them were not available, but the like black one and the gray one, the Mercury, the moon, and all they were available. And I'm like, I I can get one of these?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. It almost felt like when Rolex calls you, I guess.
Yeah.
When she's like, yeah, what color? And
I'm like, being punked right now.
And she goes and gets it. And I just gave her my card. And I was like, yeah. I was in and out in like 15 minutes. And I was like shocked the whole night. I was like, I can't believe I got one of these, man. That was so easy.
It's gotten so bad that I know they would limit people to a specific amount of purchases. You can only buy like maybe 2 at a time.
Yeah.
People would try to resell them, and they resold.
Like this is the Snoopy Moon Swatch. That one I ended up getting in Athens, Greece. Same kind of thing where I walked by and I was like, I gotta ask. And they were like, yeah, we have some in stock. And I'm like, I have one already. I'm good. I just wanted to see. Yeah. And she's like, we have the new Moonface one. And I'm like, no, I don't need it. Which one do you have? And she's like, the white and the black. And I'm like, okay,
here's my card.
And so she, she brings them out. I look at the black one and the white one, and I'm like, the white one's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't need it. It's cool. And I walked out. I went to lunch, and one of my friends was like, you're not gonna find that back home. Like, if you like it, just go get it. And I'm like,
it's true.
Yeah, all right. So then I went back and I bought it, and now it's kind of become a thing where when I go on work trips, I'm always looking like, oh, there's a Swatch store. Let me see what they have. Yeah. And actually, this last trip, they had the like Earth one, blue one. It was cool, but I'm like, if they release another really unique one, and I happen to be somewhere where I can just walk in and out, I'll get one.
Yeah,
they're fun to collect. They're cool, and like now this one's tied to a specific Italy trip I went on. The white one's tied to a specific Greece work trip I went on. That was a very stressful work trip. So it's like I got a scratch on one of my tutors that I'll now forever remember that trip by, and then this watch there. So
I feel like this is a perfect watch when you change the strap,
which I do all the time.
Yeah, which you've done. I saw.
I got these. I think Amazon. I think that's that Barton brand.
Totally transforms the whole look of the watch. It looks
definitely. These are cool, but they're kind of cheap. And I know they now offer like a rubber silicone strap, but I got these for like, I don't know, under $30 online, and it changes the whole look of the watch, and it makes it more comfortable, because this is kind of uncomfortable.
And it just goes to show the G-Shocks, the Omega Swatches, they're $300 and below most of the times.
Yeah.
You tie a watch to a story, not necessarily just because it's nice or fancy. That's what I like about watches. You look down and you remember a time when you were in Greece, when you're in Italy.
Yeah.
Those scratches. Taking it a step further in terms of price point, you're no stranger to another luxury brand.
Mm-hmm.
Tudor.
Yeah.
What do we have for Tudor?
I love Tudor.
And how did you get into Tudor? Because a lot of people actually are not familiar with Tudor.
Yeah. So I've always been into watches. An uncle of mine, when I was probably 12, 13, he started getting into watches, and he started kind of climbing the ladder in his career. And so I believe he bought a Breitling back in the day, And I remember him showing it to me, and it wasn't and still isn't to this day my taste. They make some great watches, but this specific one was not my taste.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember explaining to me what an automatic watch was. I was like, "What do you mean? It doesn't use a battery? Like it just you wind it and it counterbalance and blah blah blah."
It doesn't show me emails.
Yeah, I mean, he showed me the price.
Yeah.
You know, this is a long time. It was before. I mean, or maybe emails were around, but you know, this is before the iPhone was out. So
Apple Watch as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So you couldn't get your email on your. I mean, you know, you couldn't get your text and stuff on it. But I just remember thinking that's so cool. Like, so how long can you have it? Like, how long will it run? And you know, just getting into the whole concept of mechanical watches. And I thought that was cool. He showed me the price, and I was like, "That's kind of crazy." And then that, you know, led me to different brands like Rolex and knowing and learning about their history. And then my uncle and my cousin are really into Panerai, so they own Panerais, and uh, looking back at the history of Panerai and kind of that connections they have with Hans Wilsdorf. I believe he designed the Luminor or something. I could be wrong. I'm sure everyone will fact check me, but
And Panerai was big for the Italian military.
yeah, but I believe Hans Wilsdorf had something to do with it. I could be wrong. But just, you know, learning about now, I'm like, I love learning about the watchmakers and the history of these brands and that kind of thing. But then I've always worn watches, even like Timexes and G-Shocks and whatever. I have to admit, when the Apple Watch came out, I bought one and I was super excited and I loved it. Now my Apple Watch is basically like a fitness and sleep tracker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I sleep with it to track my sleep, and I work out with it, and that's kind of, you know,
it makes life easy. And I'm seeing nowadays the trend to wear a mechanical timepiece on one wrist and a smartwatch on the other.
I don't know that I could. Yeah, I've seen it. I don't know that I could do the double wrist thing. I think I've considered like the Whoop or the Hume or like those fitness wristbands. But I don't know. I usually what I've been doing now is I'll wear my watch, mechanical watch or even my Swatch, whatever. And then when I go work out, I'll just throw on my Apple Watch and just use that to track it. And that's kind of it. But I like the idea of the rings. But a friend of mine went to go bought one and went to go weightlift, and he goes, you know, it's kind of hard to lift weights when you're wearing this clunky ring on. I go, oh yeah, that's a good point. So. I'm looking into the little like the health monitoring bracelets. But I do feel weird wearing like a nice watch and then like a bracelet.
I see.
Thing, you know.
Like before we get into your tutors, I'd love to see the tutors. Big fan of tutors. I have a really juicy question.
Okay. Get into it.
Are actors kind of already gifted a watch to wear on set, like it's already predetermined, or are they able to sneak in their personal watch onto the big screen?
So I think that depends. It depends on the actor, it depends on the production and the budget. Usually there's a wardrobe / prop department. If it's a prop, maybe it's a very specific thing that has to be built or made for it, then that would probably be props. I know, and I've heard stories of like big A-list actors who either have a deal with a watch brand already or are just fans of a specific watch, and so they'll tell the director like, hey, I gotta wear, my character has to wear this watch, right? If you're playing like
Brad Pitt in Formula One,
he's got an IWC deal, right? So, and you know, they even made a point of like, hey man, you just want to when he wins the 24-hour race, and they're like, you don't even want the watch, and it's very clearly a green box.
Yeah.
And he's like, I already got one. And then it happens to be this like awesome IWC that they released for the movie
with a beautiful green dial.
So something like that. Obviously, there's meetings and contracts involved because it's a brand deal, and you have to, you know, I'm sure that shot of the watch, that there's a couple shots I think of it, but when he puts it on the nightstand before his race,
that was what I noticed.
You know, that kind of thing. That's all planned out, and
I'm over here kneeling over to my girlfriend. That's an IWC.
Yeah, I know.
It's an IWC.
Us watch nerds. I think we spot it everywhere, man. Yeah. It's kind of like Rain Man. I'm just like, oh, that guy's got an IWC.
Like in Breaking Bad pilot, when Aaron Paul's character gifted Walter White a Tag Heuer.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
nice to see.
yeah. It's cool, man. Like Hamilton has done a lot of stuff with movies,
Dune,
with Dune and
Indiana Jones,
Indiana Jones. That was a cool one.
Interstellar.
Interstellar with the Murph.
Yeah.
So I like when brands do that. You know, obviously Omega with James Bond. That's a crazy deal. That
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah.
almost expected now. You know, like what watch will he wear in this next movie? Whoever he ends up being, and you know, will it be available?
Yeah. Kind of like how we nitpick, oh, like what watches on their wrist. Are you watching a movie nowadays and just, I wouldn't want to say critique, but are you like looking out for stuff that could have been improved upon?
I'm definitely always looking at actors' wrists
Yeah.
in movies and
Uh-huh.
shows. Yeah, because you know sometimes it's something cool, and you go, oh yeah, it kind of fits the character, or oh that's a obviously they made that for the show and now they're selling it. Whoever
Yeah.
the watchmaker is. But yeah, I love it. If I was directing some big movie, I would tutor. I'm looking at you. I would definitely try to reach out to a brand and be like, hey, I will put all tutors in this
Yeah.
movie and like you know maybe the bad guy Navy SEAL villain guy
As a
is like
fella goes on or something.
yeah, or he's got the all black ceramic
Yeah.
or something, you
The
know.
P01.
Yeah, yeah, and you know your leading lady's got the Claire de Rose or something, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's when like the filmmaker director maybe is a little more involved in like, hey, we got this branding deal and I think your character would wear this. But the actors have just as much input in going, no, you know what, I think my, you know, character would wear this watch. Sometimes the actors might not care.
Actors could be difficult in that aspect where, no, I'm gonna do it this way.
You know, I don't remember who. I think Kevin Hart buys himself a watch after every movie, and it's some crazy watch just to celebrate the movie or have like a memento of that film.
Yeah.
But I think I heard of another actor who will buy a watch for their character or like select, like the actor themselves will select a watch for that movie to wear. That's kind of cool
That's awesome.
too, because that tells me that actor's a watch nerd that I can definitely hang with at dinner and like talk watches with, but also that they've thought that much into their character. Like, what watch would my character wear? Like me, the actor, I want to wear an AP, but this character is probably wearing
He's a Panerai guy
or a Panerai, you know, whatever it is that fits the character. So
that's true. I want to know what type of character Luis is in terms of what watches he picks when it comes to Tudor. What do we have?
Some would say plain and boring.
And other people would say what?
Exciting, cool. I don't know.
And enthusiast.
The nerds would say that. Yeah. I'll say nerd a lot, but it's a term of endearment. I love meeting other watch nerds, fellow watch nerds at events. Just a passion. You know, I love anyone who can be really passionate about anything, even if I don't know any, especially if I don't know anything about it, because then I'm intrigued, I think, more. Yeah. But anytime anyone is into something that much, where they have that much passion, it's exciting to talk to them, whether it's like gardening or whatever, like
tennis, whatever.
Yeah, anything. Yeah, it's just cool to meet someone that enthusiastic. I have a lot of like chef friends and that kind of thing, and seeing them get excited about like ingredients is like, that's cool.
Like, wow. True.
Okay, so my tutors. So I had a lot of watches. I had Timexes and different things like that. I had an uncle of mine for Christmas gave me one of his old Tag Heuers, which wasn't really my taste, but I had it for a little while and wore it. It was cool. And then I got a Tissot PRX.
Wow.
Which was really cool. I love that watch. I got probably more compliments on that PRX than
that was my very first watch.
Other watch I've ever owned, honestly.
Special place in my heart for the Tissot PRX.
It's a cool watch, man. I just recommended that to a friend who I think I am slowly getting into watches, and he's like, where should I start? I'm like, well, let me show you some Tissot PRXs here. What's your favorite color? What do you like? You know,
you're enabling him, and you know he's gonna get the bug after that.
I do that. You know that scene in The Grinch where he kind of like his eyes get all bit, his eyebrows get all bit. Anytime anyone's like, hey man, I'm looking for a watch, a watch, you say, huh?
Yeah.
Like, ooh, yeah.
Come here.
What's your price range? What are you into? What's your lifestyle like? You know, I get into it, man. I love helping people pick out watches. But yeah, for me, I had the Omega, was it reduced, 39 millimeter reduced Omega, not the swatch, but the actual, why am I blanking on it? Speedmaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Speedmaster. It was cool. I guess that was technically my first luxury watch, but it was also when I bought used. I think it was like from 95 or something like that. It was cool, but I didn't love it. And this was probably 2018 or 19. And then something happened around 2020 that kept a lot of people at home, and I think that created a lot of new, I could be wrong, but it created a lot of watch influencers. And so now you're starting to see like YouTubers and Instagrammers who are posting about watch content. And so that, I think, took the addiction even deeper down the rabbit hole. And so I will never forget watching the Hodinkee Tudor Week on the Wrist Pepsi GMT. That video, I was like, whoa, man, that's cool. Very well done video, but also just the way they laid out the history of the brand and the watch, and then that got me down a rabbit hole into the history of Tudor. And I like Rolex. I have nothing against Rolex. I don't own one yet. I might someday. I hope someday I can. I've considered a couple recently, but I think I like the fact that not a lot of people know about Tudor. I think if you know about Tudor, instantly, like, we can have a conversation because you're probably really into watches at that point.
Oh yeah.
My cousin's husband, when we first met, he was like, "Hey man, I like your Tudor," and I was like, "Huh? Tudor, huh?" And then we
did the Grinch face again.
yeah, and then we just got into it and started talking watches, and now he's part of the family. He's great.
Yeah.
But yeah. So just learning about the brand was cool. Yeah. So then I started looking into it and like, what do they have? And I think the passion really started with the GMT, with the Pepsi
Traveler, of course.
Yeah, and I wasn't at the time. I think I maybe just started traveling, and so I think that's why I kind of started like, oh, okay, it's more than I've ever spent on a watch, but that's kind of cool, and it's kind of like a Rolex, And then probably like a year or two went by, and then I see that there's a Tudor boutique opening down the road from my house, and that's when the trouble really started. Because then I started, looking at their website and what do they have and when do they open, and I think I was there the first day.
I get a chance to see it in person.
Yeah, oh yeah, man. The first watch I'll show you, I never thought I would have bought, and I walked in just to look, had no intention of purchasing. And I tried it on, and I was blown away with how much I liked it, and ended up buying it on the spot. I was like, this is cool, man. And that's the Ranger.
Nice.
And so the Ranger, I probably wear the most. It's the clasp is all scratched up. I love the fact that it's a very toned down version of the Explorer. The Explorer is great. I love it. And I strongly considered saving up to get an Explorer. But honestly, man,
the T-Fit clasp.
That T-Fit
makes life easy.
That T-Fit clasp. I've tried on and worn some Rolexes for some friends of mine that have them, and they're cool. They're great. But that T-Fit, a lot of people are like, well, does your wrist really expand that much? Yeah, I don't know about you, but throughout the day, mine does. I'm constantly adjusting. And it's a click or two, which is not that much. But, I mean, there's, it starts to get warm after lunch. You've had maybe some, like, big old pizza or something. It starts to get a little tight, loosen up a little notch. Yeah, now I'm good, So it's the most comfortable watch. That was my problem with the vintage Omega I had and the Tag Heuer I had.
No adjustability.
No, and they would get uncomfortable. So I constantly had to put them on straps, which we'll also get into because I also love straps. So I love the look of a stainless steel bracelet, but they were always so uncomfortable. They were too tight or too loose. And so that's what I really love about Tudor is just that T-Fit. And I don't own... Well, I guess I do now own a Tudor that doesn't have the T-Fit, but I don't think I would buy one if it didn't have it. I think to me, like, Tudor and that T-Fit, even though it's a newer clasp, I think they hit it out of the park. And now you're starting to see other brands do it too. I think that shows you that people like the adjustability. Yeah. Also, just being able to, like, oh, here, let me tell you about watches. Oh, you have a big wrist. Let me crank that all the way out. Now it's loose. Here, try it on, man. Like, try it on for yourself. And people, oh, once they have it in their hand and you explain it to them. I had a friend of mine who was like, wait, so how does it work? And I explained like a mainspring to him, and he was like, that's crazy. And just like, just that, just the tactile feeling, that to me, it's great.
I feel like T-Fit clasp is what Apple CarPlay is to cars. Once you have Apple CarPlay in your car, you don't turn back. It makes life easy.
It's hard.
It's hard to turn back. You get spoiled with it.
Yeah.
How much did you pay for that at the time? Because currently it's $3,500, which is still a lot of watch for the price.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I was definitely before the pricing.
Probably like 2,900, 3,000, maybe 3,100.
I think it was maybe 34, 35 out the door with like taxes and everything.
All
so
right.
that it was before the increase, but it was around that same price point. But I love it because if this was an Explorer, I would be a lot more afraid to wear it in certain situations, whether that's for being robbed or like dinging it, like this thing. I mean, it's a lot of money, but it's a lot of watch, like you said. And this is kind of my daily. It goes with everything. And so it is kind of scratched up, but I don't care, man. Like, same with cars. I read a story of some guy that has like 2 really cool, unique Porsches and like has no miles and keeps them covered. And like, that's cool, but like also drive it, like enjoy it. Yeah. So this is one I definitely enjoy. And I almost fell out of love with it a couple times, and I thought of selling it a few times because I'm like, it's kind of just simple and plain. But I think that's kind of what I love about it now is the simplicity of it, just time only. It's all very subtle. The hour, minute, and seconds hand does have a little bit of a mirrored polish to it. So every now and then the light catches that, and it looks really cool. So this is one that I constantly change straps on too. The Tudor fabric straps are worth every penny in my opinion, and they are very well made, but also just changes the watch, the whole look. Sorry, I have like literally.
Oh yeah, I see them for around $180. You could get a Tudor fabric strap.
I carry strap, and I have all sorts of straps. I bought these like aftermarket.
Looks like a Marine National strap.
Yeah, like bungee kind of material.
Yeah,
but these Tudor straps, man, are fantastic. And so as many a bag full of straps I have here, I do find myself using the 2 Tudor fabric ones the most. And the green one with the Ranger looks so cool, man.
They're made very well. If you don't know the history about the fabric straps, there's a really cool YouTube video that you could take a look at. But just to break it down to you, they're made and assembled in France by Mr. Julien Farr. And him and his family have been doing this for 5 generations with old weaving machines.
By hand, right?
Yeah. Mostly by hand, but there's also like intricate machines that weave it.
But it's like wooden, old 100-year-old machine type thing.
And I read that the same material on these fabric straps is the same material that maybe the Pope might be wearing in his cloak. They work closely with the Vatican as well.
Same fibers and stuff.
Yeah.
They're very well made, man. Like, I mean, the stitching, the buckles are beautiful. It's very comfortable. I love that there's these little holes for you to put the spring bars through.
Yeah.
So it really holds, it makes you feel confident that it's really going to hold on to that watch,
Oh yeah.
But yeah, again, I get a lot of compliments on my watches when I wear them on these fabric straps. I love these. But yeah, I travel with several straps and watch tools and that kind of thing.
I'm noticing another field watch.
Yeah. Yes. So this was my second Tudor. I walked in to purchase the Black Bay 58 GMT. I was very excited when that was announced. But then I saw it in person, and I love it. It's a great watch. It was a little too guilty for me. The gilt was a little too warm, a little too strong for my taste. And it had just released. So there was the whole like, well, you put a deposit, maybe in 2 months you get it. And I was like, it's my birthday. I'm about to go on a long trip to Europe. I really just want to buy something and wear it out, right? And I think you can kind of do that with Rolex, but I love that about Tudor. As long as it's not some crazy pink flamingo pink chrono or something like that. Yeah. For the most part, you can just walk in and pick up an incredible watch at Tudor and walk out with it the same day. It's kind of what I did with the Ranger and with the Black Bay Pro.
Yeah.
So the Black Bay Pro, immediately I loved it. I think a lot of people online loved it. But then the specs came out and people were like, whoa, that's a thick watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I kind of wrote it off because of that. But then I went and saw it. That when I went to go look at the 58 GMT, they had this in stock. And I tried it on and I go, you know what? It's not that thick. It's not that bad. And so I bought it on the bracelet, but again, this is one that I just traveled through Europe with. And on the fabric strap or like on this leather strap, it changes the whole look of it, but it also makes it a lot lighter and easier to wear.
Mm-hmm.
I think the bracelet adds a lot of heft to it, which is nice. I like having that hefty feel in a watch sometimes. And like when this is on the bracelet and you hand it to someone, they go, whoa, you know, like there's a heft to it, which is cool. It kind of goes with the whole pro thing. But look at that on the leather, man. That's again like a Amazon leather strap that I bought. I do buy always on the bracelet, but I do like to buy the Tudor fabric straps, and I'll probably get the rubber one. You know, so I like to buy the different straps to switch up the look of it. But that's one where I think it changes the whole look. Like I would wear this out to dinner with some leather shoes and leather, you know. So this is one of my favorite watches that a lot of people think is a big, heavy, hefty watch, and it kind of is, but it's wearable. It's comfortable. I've worn it hot conditions, cold conditions, all over the place, and I really like it. It goes really well with a lot of things. I put a blue strap on this, and it looked great. So it goes with a lot of different things, different colors, and like outfits, and dressed up and dressed down. But this is one that definitely gives you that Explorer 2 vintage vibes, and I love that. I don't own any watch that has a diver bezel. Like all my watches are. I mean, this is, you know,
no 60-minute countdown bezel.
No, and I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I don't have a diver. I'll show you. We'll go into my next one.
A little bit on the vintage side, I see.
I went vintage. Yeah. I was looking at Rolex. I kept seeing like these solid gold day dates, like vintage ones. I'm like, man, that's clean. That's really cool. I like that. But then I looked at the prices and I was like, yeah, probably won't do that. But then I started looking at the two tones and kind of going down that vintage route. And I typically wear 39 millimeter, 39, 40, 41 is kind of my happy place. This is a 36. So I went back and forth a lot on this one because I wasn't sure if it'd feel too small and dainty like the Speedmaster I had. But I tried one on and I was like, you know, it is smaller. But it kind of goes with a whole vintage vibe, right?
So charming.
I like wearing this out to dinner, and when I dress up a little bit, it's a nice watch. Again, I put it on that brown leather strap, and it completely changes the look of it. It tones it down a little bit, and it's cool. I like putting it on the brown leather strap as well.
How old is that one? What year?
I believe it's 95. I bought it on Chrono 24, and I was messaging back and forth with a guy, and I was hoping he would be able to tell me a little bit more about like the story of the watch. He's like, I don't know, man. I bought it like a year ago. I wore it. It's great.
Yeah,
that's all I got. And I'm like, I'm looking for a story, but it's cool, man. I'm looking forward to making stories with it myself. I took it to Italy and wore it to a couple nice dinners.
Perfect for that.
Yeah, and I gotta do a couple things to it. The bezel, the fluted bezel is a little worn. I might have someone recut it for me or just replace it. We'll see.
That was an era.
I really want it to be fluty, if that makes sense.
Yeah, more like a Reese's cup.
Yeah. So it's nice. It still catches the light pretty nicely, but I want it to be sharp. So I know a lot of like vintage guys are probably like, don't touch it, but I kind of want it to like.
Vintage people are very, very strict.
You know, if I was gonna resell this, but I don't plan on reselling this ever, so I'm gonna do it. I don't care. But it also needs a service because the guy said I've never had it serviced, and he's like, I don't think it's ever been serviced, which is crazy because it's pretty accurate for the most part. It's gotten magnetized a few times. So I had to buy a demagnetizer and do that whole thing. But as long as you don't get it near a magnet or whatever, your magnetic field, you're good. I just got it this year, and I've gotten a lot of compliments on it, so it's cool. I like it.
That's probably my favorite Tudor I've seen out of your collection.
You know what? It's a Prince date day, not a day.
Yeah.
Date day.
Backwards.
But a friend of mine who has and on the back it says original. What does it say? Original oyster case by Rolex Geneva, and it's got the crown on the crown on the crown.
Mm. And that's what makes these so collectible is they have those
Yeah,
Rolex counterparts.
yeah, it's all Rolex parts.
Yeah.
I looked at a couple of replacement parts and that kind of thing, and it's like as long as it's a 36 date just
Yeah.
from the same era, like it's all the same bits and pieces and stuff.
It's really cool holding this right next to what we know
Yeah.
is the Black Bay 1 in a 36 millimeter. We don't have the fluted bezel these days, so this is something that I'm very jealous of. But yeah, that Rolex crown
And you know what? I looked at a lot of date just too because I thought I'm like, well, if I'm just gonna go vintage, I might as well get the actual Rolex. But at this point in the game for me, I'm such a Tudor fanboy, man, that I kind of feel like I just have to get the Tudor now, just because then I have to explain to people like, oh, is that a Rolex? No, well, kind of, yes and no at the same time, you know.
They think it's like a Frankenstein fake watch,
Oh,
They don't know the history.
Yeah, they don't know the history about it. That's my point. Like, that's what makes it, I think, more unique to me is that it's not a. It has a Rolex logo on it.
I'm jealous of the Cyclops
and yeah, and it's acrylic too, so it's got some scratches on it that I can probably get buffed out. But yeah, it's a cool watch, man. I don't wear this one that much, but it is nice to throw it on every now and then. In the summertime, I threw it on the brown leather strap and put on some shorts with some like cool shoes and went to the beach with it on. It's cool, it's a little flashy for me. I don't usually go this flashy, but it is like it ticks a lot of boxes for me. It's vintage. It's a little flashy. It's kind of that 80s era.
Perfect for dinner, like you said.
Yeah, nice dinner out. It's a 36, so I mean, it is a little smaller than I'm used to, but I can pull it off, I feel like. And I like it's fun. I don't care if people don't like it. I like it. It's cool. But also like, wife, I don't have a girlfriend, I'm single. But she could wear this. My daughter someday maybe could wear this. So that's what's cool about these, man. They're timeless and I don't know, classy.
So how does it feel to wear a timepiece that is a little bit on the older side?
It's been cool, man. It's my only, first and only. I guess not my first. My Speedmaster was, I guess, vintage, but it's my current only vintage watch. It's cool, man. I'm from the 80s, and so that era in general is, I guess, it's gotten resurgence of popularity with certain things influencing fashion and art.
Cars.
Now it's more moving into the 90s, but that like late 80s, early 90s era, it kind of reminds me of that for some reason. And it's cool. The new watches are great. I don't have to worry about those getting magnetized, but it's quirky little things like that make me kind of love this. The size of it, the gold kind of flashiness of it. It's kind of like cars. The newer cars that are coming out, they're great. They're fast and the tech is cool, but the newer cars that are coming up now almost make me go more towards the past. So now I'm looking at like 70s, 80s.
There's more personality in the past.
Yeah, more character, more personality, So same with watches. I went into the Rolex certified pre-owned and I threw on, I was I think $22,000, but it was a restored Explorer, Rolex Explorer, and it was so cool, man. And it just had something too, like knowing like this is I don't know what era it was from, but it was at least 40-year-old watch, maybe more. And it was cool, man. It was cool to like I don't know, there's something to it, like resto mods, I guess, like Porsches. When you see like an 80s or 70s Porsche on the road, but it's in like beautiful paint and perfect condition, like there's something cool about that. So I think like watches and cars and you can get music on your phone now, but putting on like a vinyl and that kind of stuff, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I like the character.
There's a connection too.
Texture,
One of my favorite things about wearing a vintage watch or just shopping for vintage watches in general, the exciting part about buying an older timepiece, you never know what life it had before you. And the mystery, that's the exciting part, is the mystery, the life it had before you. Who knows what this watch did before it was in your hands?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And
cool. I
that's
like to
quite
learn about
fascinating.
that too. I met someone at an airport, and she was a younger, probably college age girl, and she was wearing a vintage Datejust, and it was one of those like, oh, go ahead, excuse me, whatever, kind of small interaction moment. And I mentioned, I go, hey, that's a beautiful Rolex you have. I go, it looks vintage. There's gotta be a story. Like a college girl like that wouldn't just be wearing a vintage
Yeah,
Datejust without the
that's
big
older than her.
story. And literally she said, you know what, this is my grandma's. She started a business and worked hard and got it for herself and then gave it to my mom. And now that I'm in college and studying abroad in Italy, now I have it. It's mine and I wear it every day. And oh, that's awesome, man. Nice to meet you. Man, this is a girl. Nice to meet you. I went on my flight. She went on her flight. Never saw her again. But I will always remember that. I'm like, that is so cool. She's third generation owner of this Rolex, and who knows what,
It'll
her
keep going.
grandma and her mom went through. And yeah, and if she has kids or when she has kids, it'd be cool to be able to give that to her kid and be fourth generation. This was your great grandma's watch. Like, I think there's something so cool about that. And I've
Yeah.
had a few friends see my passion for watches, and then they go, actually, you know what? I should go look for like my grandpa's old watch that we had. And then they find these cool pieces. Or a guy I work with found his grandpa's pocket watches from, he was like a farmer in Nebraska or something like that. And so he brings these, one was like solid gold and a couple other like beat up old watches, and he's like, are these worth anything? And I go, up, I mean, not a whole lot
Now after COVID.
it's not gonna, like, you're not gonna retire, but they're cool pieces and it has this connection to your family.
Yeah.
And I just start winding it, and it just starts going.
Hmm.
And he's like, what? It works? I go, yeah, you just gotta wind them. And so I showed him how to wind it. And so now he has these cool old pocket watches that his grandpa used to, and they're all beat up and like, he's like, yeah, my grandpa was an actual farmer and used these and had them in his pocket. And so now I think he sees these like old relics that he had in a drawer somewhere. Now he took them out, he displays them and cleaned them up a little. So it's cool that now he has this the like 3 timepieces that he can connect to his family. So that's cool.
Tying that aspect of watches into filmmaking.
Yeah.
Do you work and think about future generations in mind when you're making a film, or do you more so kind of cater to the current generation as trends go on in real time?
I guess it depends on what hat I'm wearing. If I'm wearing a producer hat, then yeah, you want to appeal to current audiences as much as you can. I think as a creative, whatever it is you do, whether you're a musician, a filmmaker, a painter, a sculptor, whatever it is your art is, I think it should just be a representation of you and
who you are right now.
Yeah, I don't think you should worry too much about like, will this have longevity? Will people look back at my work? I think just make the best work you can, and if it resonates with older generations or younger generations or future generations, that's cool, man. You made something that held up, and
yeah,
that's cool. But I don't think when you're in the middle of making something, you shouldn't really think, oh, well, future generations appreciate this, Just make your art, make it the best you can, and let it be an expression of you, yourself, or whatever stories you want to tell. And I think there's an audience for everything, man. Like watches, how many watch YouTubes and shows and publications there are, or whatever you're into, wine, cars, I just mentioned mine. Cameras, vintage cameras. There's some cool cameras here.
You got one of these right here.
Yeah, I own one of those, and I love that kind of stuff. But anything you're into, there's like a YouTube corner or Instagram or Reddit corner of the world that has a bunch of other people that are excited about it. So, like if I'm making a film, which I'm in the process of writing something that I hope to maybe someday direct. But for me personally, like if I'm writing and I'm writing a car chase, I'm not just writing, exotic sports car peels out. I'm writing Porsche 911 GT3 in Miami blue peels out. I'm being specific because as a creative, as a director, I want to leave my fingerprint on it. I love those Porsches, man. So if I could get like a vintage one or like an old vintage Ferrari for a specific character, I'm gonna write that into the script. Same thing with watches. If there's a specific watch that I want a character to wear, I'll write it in the script just so that my props or set designer or even the actor can go, what is this? Tudor, Pelagos, whatever. And they go, oh, okay, that's what we need to get for the movie. That's what I need to wear in the movie, whatever. So yeah, to me, I would be specific with the kind of the things I'm into. Have you ever seen the show on Apple Plus? It's called I think it's Your Friends and Neighbors with John Hamm.
I have not,
It's really cool, man. He's like a finance guy, and no spoilers, don't worry. He's like a finance guy who loses his job, and to keep up the lifestyle that he has, he starts to rob his neighbors. Very wealthy.
There's watches in this show.
There's watches, there's wine, there's all these things that are expensive, right?
Patek Philippe Nautilus.
But what I loved about the show is how they did it.
Well, did a little bit.
No, it's how they did it. He goes and steals a Patek Philippe Nautilus, but you and I know what that is. And if you see someone wearing a Patek Philippe Nautilus, you're like, hey, man.
Yeah.
The
Grinch face again.
Yeah, you're like, dude, you know what's up.
Yeah.
But most people wouldn't, and so I like that they take a second where it's like they pause and then they go, the Patek Philippe Nautilus is a watch worth blah blah blah. It comes from a family, and it gives you all the stats and like the price and why it costs so much. They did that in an episode of The Bottle of Wine. He gets stuck in a wine cellar. And he kind of looks over and he realizes like, oh, I know this wine, and he grabs it, and it goes into this whole story of the
why it's so special,
why it costs what it costs, and you see him just kind of put it in his jacket and take it with him. So that kind of stuff I like, it's like clearly whoever wrote that show knows, the Patek Philippe,
the finer things in life.
Yeah, and so it's cool that they wrote it in and they found a way to go, hey, the audience might not know what this is. That could have been a $12 bottle of wine that he just stole, but it's not. Let me tell you what it is and why it's so special. So I like when films do that, and I wish you guys will have to look it up, and maybe we'll put it on the screen or something. But there's a guy who started an Instagram page where it's like watches in movies or something like that, and it was one of those where I was like, how did I not think of that first? But it's cool. It's a cool concept to like go back to, especially the like older like 70s, 80s, 90s movies and see the watches that they were wearing back then. I think it's really cool and a cool concept to whatever it is, like old photographs and stuff. I'm always looking like, ooh, what are they wearing in that? You know?
Oh yeah. Are you writing something right now? Kind of sparked a question that I would like to get your opinion on.
Yeah.
Is it okay to take inspiration from multiple sources and put them into your own project, or should you always be original in this field of work?
I think it's important to try to be authentic. Pablo Picasso has a quote. I think it's a older quote than him, but I think he's been the most famous for saying it. I think Steve Jobs might have also like quoted Picasso and attributed to Picasso, but it's something like I had to steal your phone here because I forgot the quote. Good artists copy, great artists steal. And so
Can you repeat that one more time?
No, because you just took the phone away from me. You'll repeat it.
Good artists copy, great artists steal.
Yeah. So I think, to me, what that means, and I've heard Guillermo del Toro and other filmmakers talk about this, where you have to just be inspired. And so whatever you're into, your favorite artists, your favorite filmmakers, music, be inspired by the world around you and just put that into your art, right? So you're not necessarily stealing an idea from a movie, but maybe your favorite movie has a really cool scene in it and you loved the way the camera moved, or you loved the way the color and the building contrasted with the wardrobe, and that signified something really meaningful in the story. I think it's important to use those inspirations for whatever it is you're making or you're doing, but obviously don't just like copy and steal someone else's work, but definitely take inspiration from artists that you're a fan of. I'm trying to make a film, but I go to museums all the time and I look at old paintings and composition and how did they paint the lighting and the shadows and that kind of thing. I love music, and so I'm always thinking like, ooh, that song would be really cool to play during like a chase scene or whatever, so I think you got to be inspired by everything around you. And like I said, wherever your passions are, if you're really into coffee, you can have a scene where the character is making a cup of coffee and maybe he's taking 15 minutes to do it, but you see the passion in this, whatever. And so that's what I mean. Like, just be inspired by what you like, and in my case, tell stories that I hope, can entertain, but at the same time, maybe make you think. And Ted Lasso, shout out to Ted Lasso, is one of my favorite shows, I think, of all time. I love a show like Ted Lasso that can make you, within one episode, laugh, cry, laugh a little more, laugh while you're crying, and then you just feel emotional for these characters, right? That I love. I love if I can, and this is kind of my goal when I write or when I work on something is, um, can I make the audience feel something? Can I make them laugh at a specific moment? Can I make them maybe feel something for this character, or whatever it is? I love that about cinema, right? That for an hour and a half, 2 hours, if you're in a theater, you're locked in with these other people. I guess you're not locked in. That sounded kind of weird, but you're in this room with these people, and you get to experience something together.
If you're watching a movie with me, you're locked in. You're
not
going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. That's kind of think why I said locked in, because I lock in to movies. I got to make sure the snacks and everything's ready, but I lock in too, man. And so it's a cool shared experience, like going to a concert. It's the same kind of thing, it's there's something cool about seeing a good movie, and then you're walking out with a bunch of random strangers, and you're all kind of feeling that same vibe, that same energy inside you. That's cool. I like that about music. I like that about art. And so when you're making stuff, I don't think you should like just make what you want, make it for yourself, and there'll be a fan base. For some, there's, you don't have to love my art, but there's other people who might love my art. So just make art, whatever it is you do. And I mean, art can be, you're a mechanic and you're building a car. I know a welder, man, here in town. He's probably one of the most talented welders in the world. I've seen this guy make some crazy stuff with metal. You're like, how do you do that, man? Like, you're an artist with metal, and twisting it and melting it and bending it and putting, so I think art can be anything. Martial arts, jujitsu, boxing, Muay Thai, all that stuff is art. Mixed martial arts is a good example, man, because you could have grown up in one boxing maybe, but now you can learn all these other martial arts and keep learning and keep growing and be inspired by other fighters that have special techniques for unique techniques. So I think it's always important to keep growing, keep learning, and take from all your experiences. When I work on movies, I think that's how you get experience, right? Like, I don't want to go into it too much, but on this recent trip, we were robbed, and that's something that you're always, as a filmmaker traveling on the road, you're always super conscious of, and you're always super careful of, right? Like, you don't leave things unattended, and decisions were made against my will, I think, and certain things were stolen. That's now a learning experience for the whole team, right? And so every shoot that you're on, every project that you work on, whatever it is you do, is as good as it goes or as bad as it goes. It's always a learning experience, and it's always like, all right, well, now we know, don't do this, or hey, this worked out really cool. Sometimes a light goes out, or you get to a location and you realize, like, oh, there's nowhere for us to plug in,
or they're celebrating Halloween downstairs.
There's working with international crews. I think Americans specifically, we have a way of working that other folks in my industry are a little more laid back. And so recently, I have some of our foreign crew members were like, man, you Americans really get after it. Like, you guys have a vision and you'll go for it. And, they like to take their cappuccino breaks.
They have their
siestas and that kind of thing. I love it too, man. I think it's good to have that balance and rest. But I think, when
you're far from home, you're there to get stuff done and get back home.
14-hour days and travel included, and you're carrying gear around and that kind of thing. But like I said, something always happens. Something always goes wrong.
Hmm.
You just have to be ready. It's about your mindset and just going, something probably will go wrong today, but it's how we bounce back from
Hmm.
it. That's where you learn and really get experience from. A light goes out, or you forget your diffusion, and you gotta grab, like, I don't know, a silk sheet from the bed in the hotel room and throw that over the light. Whatever it is, I've been in situations like that where you have to get creative on the spot,
Yeah.
and that's the kind of thing that really teaches you a lot. Helps you grow and whatever it is that you're doing.
Last question for you, Luis. Something that I really believe in, and I would like to get your opinion in.
Okay.
Are movies, are film, medicine? Just a simple question.
To me,
Can film be medicine?
definitely, man. If I'm when COVID was like peak COVID and I got it and I had to stay home, and I I watched a lot of streaming series. I think I watched Queen's Gambit in like a sitting, like I watched so much stuff, whatever was out in that time. Um, and I did feel better. Now I also hit a point where I was like, oh man, I gotta get back to work. Like I'm tired of being at home and just watching movies.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I think whatever. Yes, I think for me, movies can be medicine. I think if I've had a bad day, I can come home and put something on. Maybe I've already seen it a dozen times.
What's your medicine? What movie? I'll tell you mine. Lance Dog and
Man.
Dumber.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a classic, funny, like, especially if you've seen it a bunch of times. Like Anchorman, I've seen a lot. And I worked and lived
Especially
in that
in San
world.
Diego. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's one that I quoted regularly when I was directing the morning show. And so that's one I can put on in the background and just have. Entourage, I'm a big fan of, and I've probably seen that show from episode 1 to the movie a few times. So that's one I can have in the background, like if I'm cooking and I'll hear something and I'll like say it with the actor and still laugh. So yeah, I think in a sense it can make you feel better. But music can do the same thing, or driving your favorite car can have the same effect, or
Your favorite watch?
you putting on your favorite watch and going out to a nice dinner with friends or even by yourself and just, whatever it is. I think yeah, I think it's again, it's all a mindset thing. Bad things can happen to you at any time, and something could go wrong, and none of that stuff you have any control of. The only thing you have control of is your emotions and how you react to things. So I learned that from a friend in the Middle East working on a project, and something wasn't working, and it was a live TV thing, and we had to hurry up, and everyone was really tense, and everyone was, like 9,000 RPM, like, how are we gonna fix this? And you got 4 people stressing out, and a friend of mine who was kind of like the production manager at the time walks over, and he very calmly, he's ex-military, very calmly goes, okay, what's the problem? Okay, did you try this? Did you try that? Okay, try resetting it. Try doing it. And just him being there, he didn't really figure it out. He just kind of came in and
Controlled the
situation and brought the tension way down to where now one of the guys is like, oh, you know what? Let me try switching out this cable or whatever it was. And now it works. And that just made me realize, like, especially in a production world where it's high stakes and there's a lot of money and you've got to meet your day because you've got 10 hours, but you got a lot to cram in those 10 hours. And so you're stressing out, especially as a director, as an assistant director, even if you're just an extra. I think your energy and what you put out really has an effect on, in my situation, in my case, the crew. So when I direct, I try to be very calm, even though sometimes I'm also producing or production managing. And it can get very, very chaotic and hectic and stressful. I try my best to stay as calm as I can and not freak out, even though internally I might be like, how am I going to fix it? Whatever. I think keeping calm and trying to not get super flustered really helps, because it makes the rest of the team in the room feel calm. And now this camera guy is not like super stressed, he's calm and he can go, oh, you know what? I've been in this situation before on another shoot. We fixed it this way. I think we might be able to fix it.
Yeah.
So I think you can't control anything that happens to you, but you can control how you react to things. So try to react calmly. Someone could be in your face. I've had this happen too, where you have people in your face yelling at you. They're super mad. If you just stay calm, you already won that battle, because I think once emotions start to get worked
Can't
up,
think clearly.
yeah, you can't think clearly, and emotions flare, and you might regret whatever you said or did later. So I think just keeping even keel and trying to stay calm in stressful situations is probably the best. But also, like, I work, and I know a lot of people that work in high stress environment. If you're a chef in a kitchen at like a high level restaurant, man, that stuff is stressful. If you're in banking or whatever, you're dealing with millions of dollars. Like, there's really stressful jobs out there, man. And one of the things, like, the Europeans, my European friends have taught me is you have to take time. They take a little too much time to relax. I feel like there's a couple times where, I'm like, all right, I get you guys are having siesta, but I want food right now.
Yeah.
I want to go shopping and everything's closed.
Yeah.
I think there's something to it. You have to have balance. You have to go out and get it if you want something, if you're building a business or if you're trying to make a movie or whatever, which I always tell people making a movie is kind of like starting a business. But you're starting a company essentially. But yeah, whatever it is that you're doing, I think do it with passion, give it your all. But also, if you have a family, go spend time with that family, go spend time with your kids. Take time for yourself. If you're busy working on a project for 3 months, that's cool. Work hard. But when you get back, give yourself a couple days, go relax. It always takes me a little while to reset my internal clock because of a jet lag, but also just getting home and doing laundry and getting everything back in play. It takes a little while. So work hard. I always have to work hard, but also give yourself time to rest and recover sometimes, because I've done, film school, thesis film. I think I went 52 hours, no sleep of everything from like I had to rewrite something. I had to help saw and paint wood for the set, and it was just nonstop. And then you finally get home and you lay down, and now you're like, well, now I can't fall asleep. But I'm very much into that, like, grind, work hard, do what you got to do to get the project done, to make the day, to finish in time for whatever deadline you have. But then when you're done, take time to relax and treat yourself. Go, you worked hard, you hit a milestone. Go buy yourself a watch. Go celebrate,
Luis, thank you so much for your time and for giving us an insight of what it's like to be a film and TV director. It's something that a lot of people are very curious about, and we got a chance to firsthand answer some questions through both of us.
Yeah. And I get this a lot when people ask me, what do you do for a living? And I go, I'm this on TV. I work in I'm a director. I'm a producer. I'm a camera guy, whatever it is. And I always get like, yeah, but like, what does that mean? What do you do? And honestly, it could be anything. It could be, I started off as a PA, so I was literally running coffee for people. Now I'll run camera for friends on shoots, and I'll direct stuff, and I'm getting ready to write a film, and I'm in the process of writing a treatment for a TV show and that kind of thing. It's a very interesting industry to navigate. And there's a lot of avenues. Like, I would say I'm outside of the industry. I'm not really in the industry. I've worked in TV and I've done these documentaries and I worked on all this stuff, but I've never done like a $50 million movie or anything like that. So it's interesting. I've worked with a lot of those people, and you come across those projects, and I've been on those big sets and that kind of thing. But it is a hard industry to navigate. So if there's anyone out there in the industry or who wants to get in the industry, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to answer questions. I know for you, when you told me you were doing this, man, I got excited. I was like, dude, I can help you out if you need, like if you need tips, advice. I have a marketing background a little bit too. So I love talking to people about cameras and lighting setups and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, if people want to follow me on Instagram, feel free to message me and reach out if you have any questions, or if you have a show you want to do, whatever, let me know. I'm I'm always looking for fun
Yeah.
new projects to work on. And so yeah, for your audience, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be a part of this. This is my first time doing a podcast, so it's cool that I know you and I'm not walking into this like super intimidating situation. Like it's cool to be able to talk about, like, if you wanted to interview me about like politics or something, I'd be a little more nervous because I'm like, that's not my thing,
That's
man.
not
And I
this
like watches.
podcast. This is chill.
The documentary I just did, I had to speak with scientists and I had to do translating in Spain, and they were literally having complex like physics and like mathematics conversations, and then the crew would look at me to translate, and I'm like, I have no, like, I know the words he said, but
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know understand, right? So this has been fun, man. Thank you for having me. And like I said, if you or any of your audience has questions, they want to reach out. I might not be able to help, but I know a lot of people who might.
And what is your Instagram?
And so it's my name. It's just Luis Alejandro Bustamante. I think it's Luis _ Alejandro _ Bustamante.
Perfect.
On Instagram. Follow and reach out, DM me if you have any questions. Even photography. I love photography as well. So yeah, whatever it is, watches. I'm always happy to talk.
Well, hopefully we'll get another chance to show off the collection in later time.
Yeah.
As it grows, of course, as you travel more, as you do more projects, you're going to pick up a little bit more.
I'm already thinking of what tutor I want next.
All right. We'll see that on video next time.
Yeah. Hey, I had a lot of fun. If you want to do this again, I'd be more than happy to. We could talk watches, we could talk cars, we can talk movies, whatever, man. I'm happy to be here and be a part of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our video. My name is Mark Flores, and you're watching The Minute Mark, and we'll see you with our next guest next time. Thank you.